Hi, it's Scott from Lion's Eye. I just finished reading this book called Purple Cow: How to Transform Your Business by Being Remarkable by Seth Godin. And this is a really good book for any size business. But I wanted to go through and summarize it with our focus on local businesses because it has a lot of examples from like Fortune 500 multi-billion dollar businesses that just really weren't relatable. So I've gotten rid of those, and I've remade this summary with just examples from small local businesses so that hopefully you'll be able to take some of this knowledge and implement it into your business. But I do highly recommend picking up the book because it is really good. So the whole point of this book is to help you transform your business into a purple cow business. So the example they gave was, if you're driving down the road, you see a whole bunch of brown cows. They're kind of interesting at first, but after a while, every brown cow just looks the same as every other brown cow. So you want to make sure that your business doesn't become a brown cow business, so that, for example, if you are a grocery store, it's not the same as every other grocery store. If you're a hair salon, you're not the same as every other hair salon. You want to be a purple cow business, have a purple cow product or service, so that you are the one with that special thing that people talk about. So instead of being just another restaurant with vegan options, you should be the 100% vegan restaurant. This is going to stick out amongst all your competitors with this special niche group of people, and people will talk about you more, and it's a much better way to stick out amongst your competitors by being the purple cow. The problem with advertising now is that it's just saturated every part of our existence. So everywhere you go online, you see advertising. Everywhere you go offline, you see advertising. And it's just saturated everywhere, so that it comes to a point where people just glaze over. They don't see anything anymore. They don't even look at the ads. If you were to ask people what ads they saw in a day, they have no idea. So how are you going to stick out amongst all this other advertising and have people actually see and acknowledge your product or service instead of just glazing over and not knowing at all what's going on? And the second problem is that even if your product or service is really good, it doesn't matter. People aren't going to talk about it as much as they used to. In order for me to talk about a product or service, it really has to be purple cow remarkable or very terrible experience. Otherwise, if it's just good enough, I'm not going to talk about it, because having a good product or service is just what's expected. If I go to the barber shop, I expect to get a good haircut, and that's the end of the story. The only way I'm going to talk about it is if they went above and beyond and delivered some crazy service, or if it was terrible and the guy cut my ear off. Otherwise, I'm not going to say anything about any of my friends to it. And the final reason why advertising isn't that effective anymore is because most major problems have already been solved. So maybe 20 years ago, you could come out with a new thing that no one had ever heard of before, and people would be interested when they heard it on the radio or in the newspaper, saw the advertisement for it. But now, basically, anything I could want or desire has already been dealt with. You have to come up with something truly crazy for me to want to see the advertisement for it. Everything's been done already. So with all this doom and gloom about how terrible advertising is, how do we make it work if we want to start a business and come out with a new product or service? This is how we do it. This is the key. You focus in on a very small, narrow, niche part of your audience and build a remarkable purple cow product or service just for them. And that way you can go to where they are and laser target them with advertising. And if this is something that your target niche would be really interested in, then they're going to respond to it, and then they're going to come and check out your product or service. So, for example, if I was a pizza owner, I would make a pizza just for bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts. And I would make this pizza with like a cauliflower base instead of traditional pizza crust, and make it low carb, high protein, very special niche pizza. And then I would go into all the gyms around the area and figure out a way to advertise my pizza place inside these gyms, because I know that people who are interested in low carb, high protein foods like this are going to be in these places. And that way I can focus in like a sniper and just laser target these people with my pizza place. And since it's a very unique thing that no one else is offering, it's a high chance of success that people will be interested in my product and come check me out, and probably tell their friends about it too. Like, oh man, I went to this pizza place and they had high protein, low carb pizza and it was so good. So now this is worth talking about because no one else is doing it, and it becomes a purple cow pizza place and sticks out amongst all my competitors who are just normal pizza places. In general, people have no shortage of these great purple cow ideas when they have their business. The problem they have is the will to execute on them and being brave enough to stand out amongst all the competition, because it feels a lot safer to just do the same thing that everyone else is doing. But in reality, this is the worst thing you can do, because then you become like just another pizza place, just another barber shop, just another mechanic. You have to find a way so that you become known for like, oh no, this is the mechanic that does X. So, you want to become a purple cow. Here's a few things to consider when coming up with these purple cow ideas, as well as a few methods for coming up with them. So one is to steal ideas from other industries and implement them into your own. Remember, don't steal the ideas from people within your own industry, because then you're just copying someone and you're not a purple cow. So what you want to do is take ideas from other industries and bring them into your own. So for example, maybe you're a flower shop and you like how when you go to hotels there's a chocolate on your pillow. So now you're a flower shop that every time someone comes in to buy flowers, you give them a little chocolate with the flowers. And that's just, now you become the flower shop that gives out chocolates every time I go. So I'm more incentivized as a consumer to go to your flower shop, because at least then I get a little chocolate out of it. I don't like buying flowers, but I do it for other people. So at least now if I go to your flower shop, I'm getting a little chocolate for me at the same time. Even if your product or service is boring, remember, you can find a way to make it remarkable. Like if you're a barbershop, why don't you have a barbershop where I can get a glass of whiskey or scotch while I'm getting my hair cut? Why isn't that a thing? Then you become the barbershop where I get to drink at the same time. Don't expect every idea to work. What you want to do is come up with like 5 to 10 ideas, and they should all be purple cow ideas, but most of them won't work, some of them won't work. But all you need is one idea to be successful for your business to take off and for you to become known as the business that does X, the purple cow idea. You don't need to be passionate about the people in your industry or like the people who use your product or service, but it is helpful if you are part of one of the niche groups. So it's going to help you come up with something. But even if you're not, just try a bunch of different things, and this can help you create your purple cow idea. You can try doing things that are just not done in your industry. So if something is just not done normally, then this is a good way to stick out. So if you're selling cars, try having non-commissioned salespeople, because everyone expects a commissioned salesperson when they go to buy a car. So you could be the person who has non-commissioned salespeople. I'm just throwing out ideas. When coming up with purple cow ideas, it's the best to be on the edges of whatever the thing is. So be the loudest or the quietest or the softest or the hardest. Something that really sticks out is a good way to do it. The only one you don't want to do is be the cheapest, because you don't want to lead into a price war with all the other people in your industry. The only way you want to do this is if you can be remarkably cheaper than everyone else and just blow them out of the water. But if you're just going to be 10% cheaper, then don't bother doing it. Try and find a different way to do it. A good way to be purple cow is to personalize something. So why not every time I go to the bar, every third drink I get, they give me a personalized glass with my name in it. You could buy a little engraving thing and engrave my personalized name into the cup. It wouldn't be that expensive, and it would give me a really personalized experience, and it would encourage me to go back to this bar over and over, because every time I go, I get a personalized glass. Beware of compromise when coming up with your purple cow idea. If you come up with these ideas in a big group, then people are going to want to compromise on them and whittle them down until eventually they're not purple cow ideas anymore. They're just plain old boring ideas, and you're no longer a purple cow, you're just a brown cow. Now remember, when you're coming up with the ideas, you're still selling solutions to problems that people already have. You're not coming up with these crazy new problems and new solutions to make your purple cow. So sell things that people are already buying, but make the solution a little bit unique. And finally, remember that outrageous is not the same as remarkable. So if you were a dentist and you put trampolines around the chair so you could hop all over your patients while you're doing the work, that would be outrageous, and you'd probably do a worse job. That's not the same as remarkable. So remember to keep things still in the realm of, like, people think it's remarkable and as a good thing, not just, this is just crazy. So some purple cow examples. Like I mentioned before, sell cars without commissioned salespeople, have a restaurant without tips, open a wine bottle on every table and just trust people to tell you how much they've had to drink. In London here, we have Rogers and Bell doing most of the internet, but I went with Start because as soon as I pick up the phone, one of their employees answers it right away. And so just by doing that, makes them remarkable, and I recommend them to my friends. Because I know if I have to call up Bell or Rogers, it's just going to be a huge hassle and I don't want to deal with it. So another way to be remarkable is to hire models or professionally dressed people for your service. You can also do little gimmicks like, here, have this 5-pound steak, and if you eat the whole thing, it's free. You could put out a petting zoo outside of your store so that when families come, they're more incentivized to come to you because that way their kids have the petting zoo to play with and then they can go buy the stuff inside your store. If you were to start a hotel, don't just be another hotel. Be a hotel with funky colors and strange things so that it really appeals to a specific niche group of people. That was an example from the book. So in conclusion, basically, you just want to find out a way to make your business stick out, be remarkable, so that people say, oh, that's not just one of those businesses. This is the business with the X. Or they do Y for me. Like, you want something that's going to make you remarkable and stick out. But if you want to learn more, I still recommend picking up the book and checking it out. It's a really good read. Thanks for watching.